If you launch your first web to app funnel before considering this, then you are essentially pouring gasoline over your marketing budget. Only it's worse because you're not just wasting ad spend, but you're wasting developer resource, design resource, senior stakeholder time, ad spend, your time. Plus, you'll end up concluding that web to app funnels don't work for your business, when in actual fact, hey everyone, Nathan Hudson here, founder of Perceptycs, where we are building the #1 growth agency for subscription apps, in my biased opinion. Now, in this video, I want to dispel one of the biggest assumptions that I see people make when it comes to web app funnels. I honestly can't tell you how often I see this assumption. I've seen it from indie developers, VC-backed startups, bootstrap scale-ups, and even large enterprises. What is this assumption, right? What am I even talking about? I'm talking about the assumption that web to app funnels have to be web onboarding quizzes or web onboarding surveys. I spend a lot of time talking to mobile app professionals about all areas of mobile growth, and recently a lot about web to app funnels. I spoke at Revenue Cat's first ever App Growth Annual Conference, leading a web to app workshop. I led a web to app roundtable at App Promotion Summit San Francisco. I did a sub-club AMA where a lot of the questions were focused on web to app funnels. I worked directly with our clients who are building out profitable web to app funnels. And I've spoken to founders, heads of growth, senior stakeholders in businesses considering running web to app funnels. Without a doubt, the most common misconception is that web to app funnels are web onboarding journeys. When I say this, I don't just mean that people think it has to be a web onboarding journey or quiz or survey in order to be profitable. In some cases, this is the belief, and this isn't true. But more often than not, I mean, people just conflate the two things, right? People hear me or others talk about web to app funnels, and immediately they think we're talking about web to app quiz funnels, right? Immediately they think, oh yeah, web funnels, you're talking about like those onboarding quizzes, right? Those surveys that apps do, that all the fitness apps do. This just isn't the case. As we're going to explore in a minute, there are a lot of ways that you can run web to app funnels, not just quizzes. So before we go into that, why does this assumption even exist? Why are so many people instantly drawn to think about web onboarding quizzes when they think about directing traffic from the web? I think there are two main reasons for this. A lot of big apps that you see running these funnels are using web onboarding journeys. Apps like Calm, Blinkist, Headway, Duolingo, Flow, all of these mega apps, if you will, that everyone looks to, and even some rapidly growing apps that are a bit smaller, they're running these web quiz funnels. And these are the companies that everyone looks to. We think, oh, what are Calm doing? What are Blinkist doing? Now, a lot of these companies were web to app early adopters and have been running these funnels for years. So this means that a lot of smaller apps or even scaling apps look to these bigger players and copy them to the point where now they're so common, people assume that this is what everyone means when they talk about web to app, and it must be the way to make it work, right? And then popular voices, like me included, have done teardowns of these funnels because guess what? A Calm teardown will always get more traction than a teardown of some obscure web funnel variation that some app no one has ever heard of is running. And this just adds to the confusion. Hence why I'm addressing this here. So all in all, there's a sense of, hey, it works for all of those big apps. They're all massive, so it must be the way to go. Not true. The second reason, which I actually think is more of a reason for this assumption growing and spreading so much nowadays, and will be for the next 6 to 12 months, is because of the rise of web onboarding funnel builders. Really, the main one everyone's most familiar with, and the one I've spoken about in previous videos, is FunnelFox. And even this tool is relatively new. It's new to the market this year, really, in kind of like public launch. But they've been pushing it really hard on the marketing side and on the sales side. So a lot of mobile app teams have heard of FunnelFox now. They've even put out reports talking about web to app. So when you look in the web to app space, it's kind of hard to not talk about web to app tools without talking about FunnelFox. The product itself is really all about web to app onboarding funnels. Yes, there are payments and checkouts, and you don't have to have the huge quiz to use FunnelFox. But really, this is, the core functionality that is attracting people to the product. But the positioning of the product is web to app made easy. If you look at their website, it says build and launch web to app funnels, integrate payments, optimize with A/B testing and scale globally, all in one platform, no coding needed. So it gives the positioning of, hey, we are the go-to platform for web funnels, right? And hey, they actually are, because as I said in previous videos, there aren't that many other tools out there. But look, I'm not hating on FunnelFox. I don't think they're doing anything wrong. I'm not saying that they're deceiving people or miseducating people. I'm not saying anything like this. On the contrary, I think they're doing a great job and helping people learn about Web2App. But because their product currently focuses on onboarding quiz, because of the market demand, because of everyone looking to those big apps, they are inadvertently helping to spread this myth. Now, why is this dangerous? Who cares, right? Great observation, Nathan. No one cares. Everyone's conflating the terms. No one cares. Does it really matter if people think web quizzes are the only option or the best option for web funnels? Yes, it does. And it's really dangerous, especially for those looking to launch their first web funnel. If you assume that something has to be done a certain way, or that it's best done a certain way because everyone else does it this way, when that's not actually the case, you risk making a really invalid conclusion. If you launch your first web-to-app funnel before considering this, then you are essentially pouring gasoline over your marketing budget. Only it's worse because you're not just wasting ad spend, but you're wasting developer resource, design resource, senior stakeholder time, ad spend, your time. Plus, you'll end up concluding that web-to-app funnels don't work for your business, when in actual fact, it's just that you didn't think through all of the possible options first and then hypothesize about what might or might not work for you and why. And this doesn't just apply to new apps. This applies to those that have been running web-to-app funnels for a while. If you aren't seeing results that you'd hope for, and you've been pushing these quiz funnels for a while, and you think, well, the best way to do web funnels is quiz funnels, or the only way to do it's this way, we tried it, it didn't work. Well, you make the mistake of thinking, well, we tried it, it didn't work, web to app doesn't work. Well, that's not true, right? Now you've just put yourself and your app in an imaginary box. It's not that web funnels don't work for you. What you've concluded is that web quiz funnels don't work for you. And more specifically, the quiz funnels that you've tried, the way you've tried them, don't work for you. So here's the truth. There are other ways to run web funnels. If you've seen my video talking about the pros and cons of web to app funnels, you would have heard how I define web to app. My definition is this. Web to app refers to the process of converting traffic on the web, or starting to convert traffic on the web before directing them to your app. This means that if you're using the web in some way to help convert traffic or leads, you are running some variation of web to app funnel. You are running a web funnel. You don't have to have a quiz. You don't have to have account creation on the web. You don't even need to take payment on the web, although in most cases this is advisable, as per the pros and cons video. You just need to be using the web in some way, most of the time pretty prominently, as part of your marketing funnel. This might mean a whole variety of things. There are funnels where you just take people to a landing page, explain the product, and then they one click and then they're at the checkout. There are landing page to onboarding surveys to checkout, the ones that we've spoken about. There are landing page to sign up, to install flows. There are landing pages with smart banners that your MMP offer. And I believe AppsFlyer first launched these in 2019, if I'm correct. So these are by no means new. There are landing pages with QR codes to install the app. You can send emails to warm leads, take them to a web paywall, and then direct them to a checkout on the web. You can send traffic to a landing page with an email opt-in and have a free lead magnet, where that lead magnet is your app. You can send people to a landing page with an email opt-in to a free lead magnet, which isn't your app, but that lead magnet talks about your app. You can have a blog post that tells people to install. You can have a blog post that pushes people to sign up on the web and then install or check out. You can have a landing page to web app demo showing users some of the core product functionality and then have them sign up and then maybe check out. You can have landing pages that take people to a webinar funnel and then check out. You can have landing pages that take people to a quiz and then a video sales letter and then tell them to download the app and check out in the product. There are tons and tons of options and combinations that you can leverage when it comes to web funnels. And there are companies out there making all of these work for them, right? Now, I'll probably make separate videos walking you through each of those different web to app funnels that I've mentioned and others that I've seen in more detail, This way we can actually go through examples, do some teardowns, dig into a little bit more detail. If you think that would be helpful, if you're interested in seeing that, then comment below or message me on LinkedIn and I'll prioritize those videos specifically. But otherwise, I'll just carry on until I get to them. But for now, I want to drop one more nugget before ending this video. If you're watching this and you already have a web funnel live, a quiz funnel live, and it's working for you, I would still encourage you to test some of these other funnel variants, these other strategies that you can use on the web. Do your own research, see what the options are, and start testing. I'm not saying by any means that you should abandon your quiz funnel, right? If your quiz funnel works, don't stop doing it, keep doing it, right? Spend more, keep spending, run A/B test to optimize it. But at some point, you will start to see diminishing returns with your experiments. At this point, in my opinion, it makes sense to have already had some progress with other strategies that you can now double down on. So you want to start doing this first. The whole point of a growth function is to experiment, right? To be creative and find new and better ways to improve things. So be more creative and adopt a growth mindset instead of just thinking, yeah, this works, we can relax now. Don't do that. And the reason I say this is because as we've seen throughout the history of marketing, at some point, what is working now will stop working and you'll need something new. Because this is like marketing history cycle 101. We find something that works, right? And when it works, people copy. Then more people copy those people. And then more people copy those people. And then we have exponential increase in people copying people. Then we have companies that come along to make it easier for you to copy those companies doing that exact thing, e.g. FunnelFox. Then more people can copy at a faster rate. At some point, everyone ends up doing the same thing and having the same thing, and it no longer becomes valuable. At this point, the market becomes desensitized to it, and you start to see returns diminish dramatically. We saw it with banner blindness, we see it with ad fatigue, we will see it with onboarding quizzes too. And at that point, this is what's going to happen. Everyone's going to be frantically working to test new things, performance will have tanked, and everyone will worry, right? Everyone will be like, oh, is this the end? I don't know what we're going to do. Everyone will talk about it at conferences, and then talk about and reminisce on the good old days, like pre-ATT, and then eventually people will find something new. Either technology will move on, or people will uncover a new strategy and get creative because they've been forced to get creative, and they'll land on some other strategies and funnels and variants that work for them. And then the cycle begins, again and again and again. So, absolutely, make hay while the sun shines. Pump as much spend as humanly possible through your quiz funnel now, if it's working for you. Juice it before everyone else copies you and you see diminishing returns. But don't be naive or get complacent. Take some of those profits that you've got from scaling your funnel like crazy and invest them into testing new funnels so you can stay on this gravy train, right? Get creative here. If, on the other hand, you've been trying web-to-app quiz funnels and they've not been working for you and you've given them a good push, don't just give up on web funnels and don't just keep doing what you're doing. Split your resources between trying to optimize this funnel and improve it and testing other web-to-app strategies early on so you can see if you get better success there, right? These can be big swings. You'll easily be able to tell if you found something that's working. Yes, you're going to have to invest more resource into actually do it, but by this point, you've already invested quite a lot into web funnels. It makes sense, in my opinion, to really test the different strategies and variants before concluding this just isn't something for you. And if you're watching this and you're hesitant to launch a quiz funnel because you just can't see how it's going to fit with your product or your audience or your market, and you're like, I don't even know what questions we would ask in onboarding, don't force it, right? Figure out what it is you're trying to achieve by launching a web funnel, do some research, really think through the options and strategies out there, and then flesh out some core hypotheses to get you started. That's my advice. That's what I would do. So yeah, I hope this video has been helpful. Please do like and subscribe so that the channel can grow. If you found this video helpful, share it with some people that you think might also need to listen to it. Maybe you can share it with your founder or your head of growth or someone senior or more junior to you. If you have questions or thought, jot them below in the comments. I hope you've enjoyed the video and I'll see you next time.